Welcome back to Truth No Chaser, real talk for real people.
Even when it burns.
It's your girl Ashley
and Jay
and Frank,
and we are back with another week of No Chaser. As I always say, Mr. Frankie Glenn comes up with the phenomenal questions that will make you think, that will have you pissed off, that might make you laugh. This week,
yes, sir.
Once again, it's no different. Frankie, let's get into it.
Yes, we're going to talk about it. This week, our No Chaser discussion or topic question is, can a black man promote black power and date outside his race? Let me repeat that. Can a black man promote black power and date outside his race? Come on, Ashley. Talk to me.
Is it just for black men, or can we
talking about black? We're talking about black men specifically.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I might want to hear if you have.
Well, I was just thinking, because when he first posed the question, of course, I was just like, I don't know, and then I thought about more and more than today, watching Madam Vice President Kamala Harris hold hands with her husband, who's a white man. Okay. I was like, she's no less black because she's married to a white man who she loves. So are we gonna denounce her blackness because she's arm in a white man?
That's a good point.
Is he white? Is he all the way white?
He's white as day. Yeah, white as day.
He just got dark hair and a little tan.
He's white as day, and she loves him. But and then you got the question was posted because you thought about different actors that play these parts where there's don't black men and promote black power, but then outside off screen they're booed up with Becky and Kelly.
Right.
So I got to thinking again, I put it in my shoes, I love my black men. I absolutely want to marry a black man, have black kids, and be beautiful.
I said that with two fists.
But you want to love black men and love you.
Exactly. That part also. But I was thinking, what if God has Ashley Pearl, this man over here who's whatever is your soulmate? Am I gonna be like, well, I'm not black because I'm with Steve? Travis Kelce.
That's the only white guy you checking for.
Oh, Travis Kelce, yes.
Because but Travis Kelce got a little bit of soul to him.
Exactly.
So it's still not really.
Yeah,
it's still not Brad.
Is he white? Is he all the way? He's all the way white.
You
see his brother? His parents?
Of course, I'm familiar with his brother.
His parents?
I'm saying that facetiously.
But to answer your question, we go back to black men. I don't think we should knock them if they choose love elsewhere. My biggest thing is what I cannot stand that some of our black men do is you want to justify why you do it, and you want to knock down the black woman because she's too aggressive, or she's too needy, or she's too this, she's too that.
So the ones that
that's why I got so and so. Now, if you love Susan down the street, then say you love. Don't knock Ashley because Ashley's a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Just stick to it. Yeah. Don't justify why you do it.
That's a good point.
I agree and disagree with that.
Go ahead. What's your disagreement?
I might not agree with his reasons that he's knocking a black woman, but if that's his opinion, that's his opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is. You can't say somebody. Not you can't, but I wouldn't say that somebody's opinion isn't real to them. It may not be real, or it may not be real to me, but it's real to them. They may have a jaded perception of black women based on their experiences or based on their exposure to black women. So based on what they say, they might say, so that may be their justification for not.
But as a grown man, you can, say why you love so and so. You ain't got to dismiss somebody else
to do.
Well,
that's to generalize it and stereotype. You ain't because you had a problem with Shaniqua or whatever or Keisha.
I didn't say stereotyping and generalizing was right. I just said that may be their, because that reason may not be the reality of black women, but it may be their reality of black women.
That's the reason why I turn my nose up at men that do that and say it like that.
And then it depends on what the question was posed. So if the question was why you love Becky, then no, they have no reason knocking black women as part of the answer. But if somebody asks them, why don't you date black women? Well, you opened yourself up for the answer.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but are you not allowed to promote black power because you date outside your race, though? Does that make you less of a black person?
It don't make you less of a black person. It don't make you. So it depends on your angle that you're coming from promoting black power and what your thing is. So I don't agree with holding the actors accountable because to them it's that's their craft. That's just their job. Yeah, it's like somebody saying, yo, if I get a job tomorrow, you know, cleaning toilets, and they be like, do you know who invented porcelain? You ain't true to this. Like, no, I don't fucking know. It's like, I just needed to pay. I just needed to feed my family. I don't really have an homage to toilets, okay? So to them, they may not have an homage to the culture. When they take the job, the first thing they're thinking that it's a job. We see them play that part, and then we make them a symbol. Like, how many times, like, you remember T.C. Carson?
Yes, living single
guy. Mm-hmm. It just so happened that he might have lined up in real life with who his character was. But we have a tendency. I tell you another one, Kadeem Hardison. All those years he played Dwayne Wayne, and every time it was time to do a panel discussion about black relationships and black culture, and he was always included. Not because Kadeem Hardison was actually that way, but because we married Kadeem Hardison to the role of Dwayne Wayne.
Different world,
and
yeah.
we seen him that way, so we think, oh, he's a good guy that can speak on this. And he's like, yo, that's just a job. You know, understand what I'm saying? And we have the tendency to marry them to that role. You know, you look at Joseph Sikora, the guy that plays Tommy Egan. Dude don't talk or act anything like that in real life. Like, he is the opposite of Tommy Egan in real life.
Yeah.
But we have this tendency to make him want to be at least a little Tommy-ish in real life, you know?
So outside of the actors, though, like, if Malcolm X wants to be dating married black woman.
All right. I get what both of y'all saying. Where I do disagree with that, though, in the selection in the movie roles, is even though you're an actor playing the character, the reason why you feel like you embodied that character, the reason why you feel like you that's your persona. For example, Jamie Foxx, right? When he did Django, he loved the story of the revolt. He loved the story of the rebellion of the freed slave that, you know, kind of had to find his own way and, you know, outsmart at the time, which was thought of as impossible, outsmart the slave owners and stuff like that. He loved the character. You love the feeling. You love the vibe. And then he's married to what? He's Katie Holmes. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for me personally,
he take his work home with him. That's all.
For me personally, it has to be some sort of feeling that speaks for you and your culture and your companions. You know what I'm saying? That has to be true to you. That has to be true to you know, the art, the kind of like art imitates life kind of thing. You understand? I'm gonna take it a step further. I personally think it's a spit in the face to your mama when you date outside your race. I always felt like that.
You going deep with it?
Yeah. Let's get it. Hold on. I always felt. So I had this conversation with a friend of mine recently, and then the person started bringing up a whole bunch of Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott's and blah blah blah. That's not a spit in the face to their mama. Their mama white.
Yeah, I was gonna say his mom is white.
You understand what I'm saying?
And Patrick Mahomes,
right?
She's white.
So again, I am going deep with it. To have this woman raise you from the womb, you know, your wife, your spouse, your significant other, you would think that the man would be attracted to how he was raised. Mm-hmm. You know, who brought him up in this world. To go the totally opposite direction, to me, always been a spit in the face to your black mother.
And not to cut you up, I think it goes back to Jay's point when it was saying, depending on their interaction with the black woman. Now, you know, their mother may not have raised him. Their mother may have left him. Call it Kaepernick. Was his adopted mother white?
Yeah, I think. I thought his biological mother was white. I'm not sure.
Well, either or. Yeah, so, you know, anybody, just think of anybody that has been brought up in it with a black mother. You know, I'm almost black, so of course, you know, I'm not dogging them. But I'm saying if she grew up in a certain way and it was not the most healthy.
Savory.
Yeah,
They're not
you know what I'm
gonna
saying?
stand.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
they may have some kind of reaction like, man, fuck the black woman because my mama
Like-
dogged me out.
Like you're saying, but
Well,
now
I
that's
think-
generalizing.
I think that's
what
I
he was
think.
saying.
Yeah.
But
That's
and then I
generalizing.
think that's a common generalization. I think it's fucked up to say if somebody don't want to date a black woman, they got issues with their mom. That's always the go-to. If a black man got a problem with black women, it's always you got a fucked up relationship with your mama. Maybe he just don't like certain shit, and it's his prerogative to not like certain shit. And that's okay. It may not be my code, it may not be his code, but it may be his code. So it doesn't have to be sometimes they just don't like it. And that's okay too. And then some people may have grown up around nothing but white people. Mm-hmm. Some people could be black as they but I know people I've grown up with guys who have spent their entire lives in schools that were 97% white. Their entire life. And I'm not saying that, but that don't have to be. But there's the thing. You can fucking disagree, but it may not be your code, but it can be his code, and it doesn't mean he's fucked up or spitting in anybody's face. You're talking about people, if a school is 97% white, that means the most intimate thing you can do, and the Bible even says this, is break bread with a motherfucker. So that means kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, all the way through college even. He has broken bread with white women. Mm-hmm. And then here you go coming on, it's to spit your mama's face to fall in love with the motherfucker you've been breaking bread with for 17 years? Who the fuck are we to say that?
Frank.
And who is Frank?
I
So Frank says
Frank that has an opinion. The fuck, like you're fucking.
I mean,
at the end of the day.
I mean that's cool, but when you choosing your bride,
But
when he chooses his bride, the same way you chose your bride, were you thinking about anybody else's fucking opinion?
So hold on.
Wait, were you thinking about anybody else's fucking opinion when you chose your bride?
I'm not getting the question. I'm not getting the question. Say,
were you thinking of when you chose your bride, did anybody else's opinion matter, including your mama's?
No.
Exactly.
No. So I'm not. They don't have to care what the fuck I'm saying, Jay. They don't have to care what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you're making an exception.
But why should it matter, though? Is what I'm saying.
But what you're saying is you're making an exception for a generalization because that's exactly what he just said. If a black man, what did Jay just say? If a black man
breaks bread,
and he has an experience with a black woman, then that may be his reasoning for going outside the race.
But even apart from that, even if he doesn't have a bad experience with black women, but let's say he don't have a bad experience with black women.
Let him finish his thought.
Yeah.
Finish your thought.
So the opinion is being driven by a generalization. You don't like you just said. If your reasoning behind it is I don't date black women because such and such and such, because your two experiences that you had. Right. You understand what I'm saying? How is that? How is that less fucked up than dating outside your from the person that raised you? My theory. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I think that I'll tell you.
I've always felt like that.
But let's say this. So I worked with a racist white cop one time, and I was trying to figure out why he was so racist, right? And here's the reason why he was so racist. He grew up around nothing but white folks, and then so he had two images of black people. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it was acceptable. I'm not saying it was right. Mm-hmm. But I was able to see through his eyes and understand his racism. Mm-hmm. And understand what needed to be decoded in him. His only exposures to black people were one, television, and two, Godby Road and College Park. I mean, if you know anything about Old National and Godby, that is not the most. Mm-hmm. That is not the way you want to wake up your holistic experience of the entire black culture. So. Now,
I get it, but those are the excuses we give George Zimmerman.
I didn't say it was an excuse. I said it was a reason. There's a difference. Okay. So you have to see the world through his eyes. So to him, it's not one or two experiences. All of his experiences, even if it was, and if a person has only two experiences and all two of them were that way, that's all of his experiences. If he has 200 and 150 of them were that way, then that's damn near all of his experiences. I'm not saying we have to understand what needs to be decoded in that person. And I'm not saying an excuse, but I'm saying that's his reason. Now, I'm not saying it's a right reason. I'm not saying it's a proper reason. I'm not saying it's a good reason. But if you put yourself in his shoes, he's like, well, what the fuck else do I have to work with? Now, let's abandon that school of thought for a second, all together. Let's go all the way away from that. Let's say he didn't have any experiences with black people, any bad experiences. All of his experiences with black people were great. We'll go back to what Ashley said earlier. Don't knock me because you want to date her. Let's say he doesn't have a knock against black women. He just likes old girl that he just likes them. He grew up around them. He feels comfortable around them. Who gives a fuck what the reasons are that he likes them? Excuse me. I like Becky. But I also see a cop on George Floyd with his knee on George Floyd's neck. And I don't think that shit is right. And as I continue to read and understand my history and the history of black people, a lot of shit about us ain't been right. So I'm going to march. I'm going to lead voter registration. I'm going to go out there and build up communities. I'm going to donate. I'm going to do tutoring programs. I'm going to do education programs. I'm going to start scholarship funds. Because he going home and busting nuts and Becky, that don't really... He doing more than most niggas out.
Nuts and Becky. You hear that, Tip? Busting nuts. I'm sorry, I had to cut you out because
and let's be real. If he do all that, he doing more than most niggas out here. There's busting nuts and Tasha. Who gives a fuck? We get too caught up on what the source is and not the message. We get way too. The NAACP was birthed out of the Niagara movement. Niagara movement was full of white people and a few black folks.
Right.
But if we want to get caught up on it, it's just like, well, it started with white people. Every civil rights and major black movement has had white people in the room when it was being planned.
True that.
We get too caught up on the sources shit rather than what the movement is and the message is.
Yeah.
So there's something about the interracial aspect. No matter how much I kumbaya with you, you ain't getting it.
And I get that part. I get that part because
at the end of the day, I sit down with my significant other, and she's white, and issues like George Floyd happened, Trayvon Martin, endless. You understand what I'm saying? There's something about this struggle you ain't understanding.
And
I agree.
And
now that's the reason why they black.
They'll give you like the but you can't relate. You don't understand.
Right.
So you have white friends.
Sympathy versus empathy.
But not empathy. You understand what I'm saying?
You have white friends who be like, damn, Ash, I hate that happened. But you don't understand that.
You don't ever know.
If you're driving your car on this side, drive my car on this side, who's gonna get stopped first? And all you say is, but you can't relate to what I actually go through.
Kudos, like you're alluding to. I love that you ride with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
Cool. I love that you walked across Emmons Bridge with us in the 60s, and your family was a part of that. Cool. But there's that unrelatable aspect of when your light-skinned child walks out, has a different type of fear or fearless. You understand what I'm saying? Because of the skin, and honestly, it's those relatable issues that make me look at some of these. I'm talking about off screen. I'm not talking about the roles that they choose, because like you said, you get paid for that.
Well, first of all, they don't choose the roles. The roles choose them. They don't choose the roles. The roles choose them.
And that is the reason. That's the reason why I pose this question. Because if the role chose you, because
there's several actors that walked away from roles that I couldn't relate to that. I couldn't get into that.
Right, but they can only walk. But
everybody's not playing on Brokeback Mountain.
But they can only walk away from some shit that they was asked to be a part of. I can't say, I walked away from doing Malcolm X. Motherfucker, they didn't ask me to be Malcolm.
No, and I get that. But once you get the storyline, you see but
the point is,
I'm specifically talking about the actor that is the quote unquote activist. You understand what I'm saying? Off screen.
Okay, I got you.
I'm talking about the Sidney Poitiers. I'm talking about them motherfuckers that act like they for us and only date white women. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
wait, that's a discussion right there. Hold up, because your verbiage right there is a discussion right there. Because I think that's where the chasm is. You said they act like they for us, but only date white women. Could it be that they are for us and that they date white women?
That's my question.
I hate
that's the question. Can black men promote black power?
As I said earlier, I do think so. I think because my whole, as I said, can it be women? Because I looked at Kamala today. I was like, I'm sorry, Madam Vice
Kamala.
President Kamala.
Yes.
Madam Vice President.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, she is for us. She represents black women, but then I was like, she got a white dude beside her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Went to Howard.
so does it make her HBC? Does it make her less black? No,
Pledge,
it doesn't.
AKA.
You know what I'm saying?
The
And
founding
you
chapter.
have some white folks. Unfortunately, there are some who actually do. They don't understand it. They don't feel our pain. But they can be like, you know what? I'm in it with you. Yeah, but they're in it with you. So could I not fall in love with David because David's white?
Indian, right? She's part Indian, right? So like
she's in Asian. She's all split up. So,
that's what I'm saying.
It's a lot going on there.
But again, are you going to discredit some of her blackness because she has
No.
Some people try to. They say she's a woman of color. She's not a black woman.
She's right.
We know in America, you 1% black, you
Right.
black.
You're black as hell.
Come on.
So I think when that was my point that I was making with Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes when interracial, I think
when your mother is.
Yeah, I think the playing field is a little bit different when you're interracial. You understand what I'm saying? If you date interracial because that's the source, that's the foundation of your home, then it's understandable. But that was my whole point. And my dad is black. My mom black. My mom raised me single. You
Let's draw it back
though. And that's why I say I look at it as a spit in her face.
Let's go all the way back though, Frank,
right,
to where we all agree.
Okay.
Let's go all the way. Let's go back. No, let's go all the way.
That's a good discussion.
Let's go all the way back to where we all agree. So we all agree, and personally, in our individual selves, we go black because we need Boo Boo to feel us.
Right.
Yes.
We need Tiff to feel me. I need Chris to feel me.
relatability.
You need your dude to feel you.
Right.
Like I don't need to be explaining shit. I need to be able to give you that look
break
and you.
everything down.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need I need you.
When something happens in this world, I need you
I
to
need
cry,
you to
cry
know
with me. We cry at the same
Because
time.
you know that happens.
And we don't even have
Yeah.
to talk about it. You
Right.
know
Just
know.
what's up.
Thank
You just
you.
know.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I need that.
Yes.
Right.
So, pause. Let's say that same passion, that same I need that graduates into me doing things in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go with things that I've personally done. Voter registration drives, podcasts that give information to people, NAACP leadership roles, and I mean the list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the list goes on for me. My resume is well built.
Yeah.
Let's take someone who has a white wife, or an Asian wife,
Does the same
or a
thing.
Latino wife, and then you have to really pick specific races. And I'll tell you why you got to pick specific races.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, dating Puerto Rican is almost like
Dating black.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody even call a black dude dating a Puerto Rican an interracial relationship, even though it's where I come from.
See that, yeah.
So you even got to break that down.
Mm-hmm.
But dating the Mexicans is
That's so-
interracial dating.
that's so
It's
true.
crazy. This is
He's
where I
Puerto
go.
Rican though, boo.
Dating the Mexicans is interracial, but dating a Puerto
You
Rican
good.
or Dominican, it's like dating a black chick. That's how it is where I'm from.
Yeah, I get
But so
Yeah,
let's take
same.
those same works in the community,
Mm-hmm.
and you go home like I said earlier and bust nuts in a white woman.
Keep saying
It's
that
butt
shit.
and nuts. Can we throw it
Keep
away?
saying- yeah.
Go ahead.
Ejaculate, guys.
Just go ahead.
That's worse.
Do what you do. Do what you do.
Act like that was worse.
Break it down.
Oh, go ahead. My fault. Go ahead, Jay.
Bust it open.
Is his works less valuable? Yes or no?
No,
Nah.
because
It's not. I
y'all
understand.
all know. Shout out to my sister Keisha, who is so pro-black. Her
Oh,
mom
that's
is-
my homie.
you love Keisha.
Oh yeah, when I start the revolution, she on me. I starting lineup. Oh, she on my start lineup.
Keisha's mom is white, but Keisha is super black,
Right.
and she doesn't discriminate from black or white. She dates who she likes.
And shout out
Same
to
with my
a former
cousin- my
coworker
cousin
of
Leah.
mine,
Yeah, same thing.
Amy. She's an ally. She's also on my starting lineup for the revolution.
So before we get up out of here, are we? Frankie has an opinion. So you feel like you can't promote black.
But I'll admit my opinion is obviously personally driven.
Right.
Like most people's opinion.
It should
but
be your
it's-
opinion,
it's-
yeah.
But it's not any wrong to it, and I don't think I'm ever saying that this is just posed as a question.
Right.
I'm not even saying that person is wrong. The message and the messenger is different.
Right.
When you understand what I'm saying, when I look at the totality.
I think
Right.
you know what it is. You know
know.
what the young niggas say when they got a black wife versus a white wife.
What's that?
The message
Uh-huh.
it hit different.
It hit different. It does.
That's fact.
It
That's fact, right?
Oh,
It hit
yeah.
different.
And that's real life. It hit
I-
different.
I listen to Nick Cannon more than I do fucking Tay Diggs. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the reality
But is he even pro black off screen?
Who's that? Nick Cannon?
Tay Diggs.
Tay
Tay
Diggs.
Diggs?
No.
Right.
He's
I
not.
was just using that as an example.
He's not.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so.
He's like, come to the cookout. No.
But shout out to
But Travis Kelce can come.
shout out to Love. Shout out to Love regardless.
All he do is catch passes from a nigga.
Shout out to Love regardless.
Yes, love who you
understand what I'm saying?
love.
Love who you love.
My only
I
dispute
ain't,
is love who you
know.
love, but just don't
Yeah, shout out to
dismiss
love
another
regardless.
I love
because
that. Frank, I love that.
What?
Shout out to Love regardless. Nice cleanup, guy.
Shout out to Love regardless.
Shout out to Love.
on TNC you promote love. Love who you love.
Sisters only, but shout out to Love.
Sidebar, if you don't date sisters, don't dismiss us though. I'm tired of that bullshit.
There you go.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. And your whole thing with girl white people, don't just love them because you love them. Just say,
Yeah,
I love Becky. Don't say I love me.
Yeah,
because
ain't
I
nothing wrong with
I ain't
it,
got
guy.
no baby around me. I ain't got no
love-
woman around. No, I love Becky because I love Becky.
It's not I love
I
Becky.
love Steve because I love Steve.
I love Becky
No, that
because
was-
Takesha, because Takesha, she talked too much.
Right.
You
She's too
understand what I'm saying?
aggressive.
Like,
She's too
all that
hard.
shit whack. Yeah.
Or all I grew around was
I
Becky
agree
and
with you on
Kelly.
that.
So I don't know any.
I
I don't know any
mean, the
Keisha.
nigga might feel. He really might feel like Keisha talks too much though. I'm not saying she don't talk too much for me, but he might feel that way.
It's all about opinions. And again,
if
love who
she
you
talk a
love.
lot.
Black power. It's like that.
Black love over here.
All right, we about to get up out of here, y'all. Again, a great discussion. Make
Yes.
sure you share what you feel down below. Let us know your thoughts as well.
Absolutely.
Your thoughts.
Please put them all in the comments when we air this. Put them all in the comments,
Yes,
please.
we want to hear what you have to
Yes.
say. Is it? Can you promote?
Don't be shy.
Can you promote? If you're all about black power,
Yeah.
can you
I respect
date
it if
outside
you-
of your race?
I respect
if
it
you
if you
don't
disagree.
agree,
Can you sell lawnmowers
let
if you
us
ain't got a
let us
lawn?
know. Let
Yes,
us
sir.
know.
Let us know.
Make sure you share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We out of here, y'all.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Peace.
Truth. No chaser.